Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Side Splitters. My name is Lyle.
And my name is Andy.
Our goal tonight is to leave you in stitches. How are you, Andy? Did you enjoy your Christmas?
I did enjoy my holiday. It was a roller coaster of bumps from one way or another, but it settled. Just kind of lasting out the rest of the year. Hopefully, I don't bite it like some other people are.
Yeah.
Good God, man! Like we're in home stretch and people can't hold their shit long enough to make it to 2017.
For real. So, what Andy is referring to is George Michael's passed away on Christmas Day of all days. And then 2 days later, Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, goes on the 27th of December. Crazy. Who knows what's going to happen? Today is the 27th. By the time this gets released, we might have more. Who knows?
I hope Secret Service is watching Betty White like a hawk.
Yeah, I do not want to lose her. That'd be a shame. But not only that, but my God, this year has just been terrible to celebrities. Between them two, you had Prince, you had oh God, I'm blanking. Help me out here. Oh, Gene Wilder.
Yeah, David Bowie,
David Bowie, thank you.
Alan Rickman.
Oh, Alan Rickman, the Metatron. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. There's been a few.
Yeah, there's no need to go through all of them right now, but look, if you're listening to this, unless you have been only listening to this and nothing else, you know who we're talking about, and I'm sure you're screaming at your headphones right now. What about so and so? Yeah, look, we're gonna miss people, okay?
Actually, funny story. That they mentioned it. They're probably going to be screaming about something else in about a minute because legitimately, I don't really care about celebrity deaths. Like, I really don't. Like, when people are like, oh, it's such a tragedy. I've been a lifelong fan of this particular actor or actress. I'm like, all right, well, that's nice because this is the first time you mentioned anything about them, and that's because they're dead. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna fanboy, sure, why not? But at the same token, like, oh, I can't believe we're not gonna get any more movies from this person. It's like they stopped making movies 20, 30 years ago. Like, we weren't gonna get any new movies anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
the only reason anyone cares about Carrie Fisher is because Star Wars has became a thing again.
yeah, and even then, I mean, I don't know if you like. I doubt you watched The Force Awakens.
Have not.
No, okay, so she could have been a Muppet, and it would have had the same effect.
Actually, I heard they're doing CGI with certain people in the new ones.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't, especially since that technology is around these days. Like, I know a lot of people are worried that robots are taking over our jobs, but honestly, if we can CG actors, we don't need to pay actors anymore. We just need to pay animators.
At least lower their salaries a little bit.
I mean, a little bit. Like,
or leave the salary the same, or even raise their salary and just have them work less. Like for example, let's take Carrie Fisher for example. If everyone only ever seen her as the original Princess Leia, then that's the only rendition of her you ever see. Therefore, she is always that image in your mind, and she's not the later rendition of Carrie Fisher, who being that we are still in the mourning process of her passing. I'm not going to call names, but
yeah, honestly, and it's funny too because you know what I'll remember her more as than Princess Leia?
What's that?
Peter Griffin's boss in Family Guy.
Right, right. That's kind of like with me. Mark Hamill. Everyone looks at him and goes, "Oh, that's Luke Skywalker." No, he's the Joker to me.
Yeah, yeah. For me, he'll always be the Joker as
Yeah,
well.
but that's just, or even Cockknocker.
Cockknocker.
I
Like the
mean,
medium.
right?
Yeah, no, and that makes total sense. And the Cockknocker is just Joker and the Trickster combined into two beings
Sure.
because he was the trickster too.
Right, right.
Um, but like the medium that these actors are known for will be around until the end of time. Like Star Wars isn't going anywhere, so Carrie Fisher isn't going anywhere. Like, if you ever want to interact with Carrie Fisher as much as you've interacted with her up to this point in your life, pop in a damn Star Wars movie. You didn't play cards with her. You didn't drink with her. You didn't ask her how her dog was, or even if she had one. You don't know. Like, you didn't know her on a personal level, so you shouldn't be those kind of person, the kind of person that's like sad about her death, like, oh, that's such a tragedy. It's like, I'm sure it is for people who are friends and family, which you're neither of. Pop in a Star Wars movie, get your Princess Leia fix, and move on with your life.
Or in my case, pop in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, get your fix as her being a nun, and move on with your life.
Yeah, like, the as much as you know that actor or actress for, whether it be Alan Rickman, David Bowie, George Michaels, or Carrie Fisher, you have access to that medium that you experience to fall in love with that person's work in the first place. So they're not gone. This is not as big a tragedy as people like to, portray it as.
I'm not
Like,
gonna
yeah,
lie. I get what you're saying, and I gotta cut you off here because if it was, I agree with you. Don't get me wrong. It's a little saddening knowing that if there's ever a Dogma 2, Alan Rickman cannot reprise his role as the Metatron again.
mm,
Then again, we don't really need a Dogma 2. The first one was good enough,
yeah, we
so
really
that's
don't need a
fine.
Dogma 2.
But on the other hand, Gene Wilder, I have loved him in pretty much everything he's ever done, and I gotta tell you, if he was able to play a crazed old man the same way that Mel Brooks has played the old Jewish guy or something like that in all of his films, if I could get that same kind of, I'm obviously old and I'm going to laugh at myself by portraying this image of myself in movies, I think he would have did a phenomenal job with that. So seeing him go, it's like, damn, we're never gonna get that now. But like you said, Gene Wilder is still great in all of his other things. So if I want my experience with Gene Wilder, I go back and watch Willy Wonka or Young Frankenstein or Hear No Evil, See No Evil, just to name a few of my favorites. Oh God, I love Hear No Evil, See No Evil.
Yeah,
Or
like
Blazing Saddles. I,
the only thing I'm holding out hope for is I really don't want Michael Keaton or Jack Nicholson to go anywhere because I'm really holding out hope that they'll be back to do a Dark Knight Returns. I really hope.
hey, Michael Keaton's Vulture now.
Yeah, yeah, and he did a good job as Birdman too.
Hmm. But that was another episode that we already did.
Yeah,
We already covered that.
we
But
did.
I'm glad you mentioned the Dark Knight Returns thing because with the new year coming, one puts into mind the concept of our mortality, especially with all this death and the concept of time passing and all that. So I have to ask. I thought about this, and what type of old man do you think we're going to be when we grow up? When we
Oh,
grow up, when we grow old, I should say.
we
Well,
grow old, yeah.
because
Well,
only
I'm
because
still trying to grow up.
we're not going to grow up. Let's face it.
No, no, not at all.
We make funnies and talk about our dicks and record it and put it on the internet. Literally made a whole episode about how you get pubic hairs caught in your pee hole. We're not growing up anytime soon.
Which will hopefully stand the test of time, if I have anything to say about it.
Yeah.
I know what kind of old man I'd like to be.
All right, let's just so we get a clear understanding of what I mean by that. You have the old man who is just lonely and goes to the park every Sunday or every day for that matter, and just goes with like a bag of feed and just feeds all the pigeons and the birds, and maybe brings a couple peanuts for the squirrels and what have you. Doesn't really talk to anybody, just kind of sits there and enjoys watching nature.
Right.
Just you gotta look at him and go, "Aw." And then you have the old man that's rather the opposite, just a complete perv, and will go so far as to have mirrors on his shoe just so he can see up people's, or I guess you could say people's skirts, dresses, and what have you. And then you have then you have the old man that just doesn't give a damn. The one that just kind of like gives the finger to little kids and walks around with his dick hanging out and just like, yeah, it's there. What of it?
Yeah. Well, mine is a mixture of different categories.
Mixture of all three. I'm going to be lonely. My dick's going to be hanging out, and I'm going to hope that someone's touching it because I'm going to have mirrors to watch their skirt as they do.
God, if only. If only. Um, no, like I have a very specific vision in mind for being an old man. So, I am gonna live in a house preferably at an intersection, maybe a stoplight in the city, with a stoop or a porch on the front. And I'm going to have my rocking chair that is going to be on the front. Uh, and I am going to just ramble off stories at nobody in particular, just to have people like hear me talking to myself on the front porch, like um, regaling them in tales of, you know, having to ride around in buckets on zip lines because we didn't have actual carnivals
Okay.
growing up.
Okay. I was going to ask, are the stories going to be honest?
No, no, God, no, no, not if I can help it.
Because that could be
Um,
fun too. I mean, just think about it. I was once in this thing called a podcast. We didn't get many listeners, but damn it, we still put it up every week. And we had to keep it on time every Thursday as if anybody cared except us.
a man who is devoted to the world is empty inside. A man who is devoted to himself is full of shit. um, yeah, like that's what I want to do. Like to have the neighborhood kids, walk by on the sidewalk and be like, the newbies of the little clique would be like, "Who's that?" It's like, "Oh, that's just old man Diaz. Don't pay him any mind," Or people stopping at the red light, and with it being summertime, the window is down in their hover car, and they're listening to loud music, and I'll like talk over the loud music and like yell commands at them, like "You better go get my milk from the store, or I won't make you new butter," like stuff like that. Um, yeah, I want to be the nonsensical crazy old man that always has something to say. Like I'll give my 2 cents on somebody walking down the sidewalk. It's like your walk kind of funny. You know what would fix that? Getting fucked. Like things like that.
Well, all
I,
right.
that's the kind of old man that I want to be.
I kind of want to be the grumpy one. I want to be the one that when the newbie is with the crowd of kids or whatever, they just explain, oh, who's that? Oh, don't mind him. He's just whatever you do, just don't step on his lawn. And for the love of God, if you lose a ball in that lawn, just it's over. Don't even bother. Be like the Sandlot with the dog, except for I don't actually have a dog. It's just me chasing around with a cane or something.
Yeah, I would have challenges of honor for anybody that wanted to retrieve a sports item from my yard.
Or even better, like I could see myself being a complete dick of an old man. Just like the first time someone loses a ball or something like that or a frisbee. Oh well, of course you could come and get it. Why would anyone tell you different? Like give them cookies and everything. Just yeah, anytime you want, come on back. And then like 2 or 3 times I keep up the charade, and then like on the fourth time I completely snap and just go after him with my cane and just start yelling at him.
And if I gave people cookies, I would give it with laxatives in it. That way they could literally lose their shit all over the floor and inside of their pants. And I'd be like, yeah, now how do you like being old?
That's great.
Oh yeah, I have plans. Like these are life goals. I mean, it's either that or die when I'm 40. Like it's a toss up. Both sound really good.
Well, um, being that we are getting to the end of the year, naturally what happens with a lot of platforms and everything is we have all kind of crazy sales. And I know one is the Steam sale, which, is PC related, so I'm sure you have nothing to do with it. But you
Sam,
said
you got water?
yeah, water. Xbox has a sale too, right?
Yes.
How's that? Did you get anything good yet?
Um, no, because the holidays have kind of tapped me out.
I see.
They had some good deals in like the daily deals that I wish I took advantage of them while they were up. Um, like I know right now is not that bad. It's Prototype 1 and 2 and all DLC for just $20.
Okay.
Uh, and there is a Battlefield 4 and Battlefield Hardline bundle, all DLC for both games for $15.
Mm.
It's not bad.
Are you ready to hear real sales?
I mean, sure.
So I got Borderlands 2 and all the DLC for $7.50.
You're never
Uh,
gonna play it.
a bullshit. I'm never gonna play it. I'll play it.
Uh,
I'll play it hard. Um,
yeah,
let's see. The entire Saints Row franchise is 75% off. The newest Doom, it's a $60 game. It's $20.
it's pretty good.
Shadow of Mordor is $10. Just all kind of cool stuff like that, like newer games and everything, just super cheap. But the real way to look at it and go, yeah, this is an awesome sale, is when you look at some of the indie games. That is the one to be like, this is what I'm spending my money on, because you can easily get like 10 or 20 games for like under $50 easily. I've done it.
Wow.
I would know.
Yeah, but those indie games are very hit or miss, man. Like, you
They are,
know,
and that's the beauty of Steam, because you click on one of them and you get the reassuring, overwhelmingly positive reviews. So you have like there's this one game called Don't Starve Together.
mm,
Uh, it's Don't Starve multiplayer. I don't know if you've ever heard of Don't Starve, but anyway,
I've heard of it, but I've never played it myself.
yeah, indie game has 49,000 reviews and it's overwhelmingly positive, which means 96% of them was positive. That's it's easy to say that that's more than likely going to be a good game, you know.
Right.
And it's not all that. If I was to look up No Man's Sky right now, oh boy, people do not like that game.
Yeah. There were a couple games that like people really were looking forward to that ended up flopping like really badly.
Yeah, that one was probably the biggest flop of the year.
It definitely had its moment.
It might be rivaled only by Mighty Number Nine, I think. Speaking of indie games, uh, I don't know. I don't know because I have played No Man's Sky and it was fun for about 3 hours, and that was about it.
Yeah.
But aside from that, Mighty Number Nine I recently bought because it was on like mega sale for the New Year's. But I'll let you know when I find out.
Yeah, I don't plan on investing in another indie game until maybe whenever Cuphead comes out.
Cuphead?
Yeah, if you haven't looked anything on it, you should. It's an Xbox Live Arcade title that it's an indie title that kind of looks like it's in the same art style as a 1930s cartoon.
Is it spelled Cuphead?
It's a lot of those acronyms and more.
All right, so Cuphead. Yeah, I'll check that out when I get a chance when we're done here, maybe. That's what I got going on for me as far as the sales go and everything. I bought a bunch of stuff. I also bought a Steam controller, which is a controller made by the company Valve, which is the company that runs Steam.
It looks so weird.
It does look weird, and that's what intrigued me. Also, because it's a $50 controller, and it was on sale for the controller and a carrying case, which is a $15 carrying case, $35. And I'm like, you can't beat that.
Yep.
So I was
I got a controller
swept
carrying
away.
case.
Nice. I was swept. Well, it's a wireless controller, and I'm like, you know what? I really want a wireless controller for my computer because I'm working with a wired 360 controller. Um, and wires get messy. So I was like, if I can get a wireless one and then a nice case to put it in at the end of the day, and I can just put it up to the side, so no one steps on
Yeah.
anything. We'll see how it goes. But shipping's a bitch on those things. It was $35 for the controller and the case, but it was $12 for shipping. I was like, damn it.
Oh.
I'm used to getting all these gifts for holidays recently, and it was all like free shipping, maybe $1 or two shipping, depending on what it was.
Yeah, I actually lucked out. Most of my presents were on time this year. Last year when I tried to order presents, there was one that didn't come in at all. Um,
Yeah, I'm
and
wondering that might be a problem this year for me actually.
really,
Yeah, I got a gift that I got my wife. She's super into Pokemon all of a sudden. Uh, specifically,
yay!
yeah, specifically Generation Two. She absolutely adores the grass starter Chikorita. So I got her a Chikorita keychain. Her mom got her a Chikorita T-shirt, and I found a Chikorita plushie. And I ordered the plushie, and I also ordered the keychain and a candle for someone else all at the same time. And I remember just getting bombarded with confirmation emails and not even bothering to check them. And then at different times, I was getting, it's tracking for this is here, tracking for this is here. I was like, whatever. Plus, I have this wonderful smartphone, this Google phone that tells me, by the way, this package will be arriving tomorrow at this time because it syncs up with all my packages that I bought through my, Google Gmail. Um, so it lets me know everything that's going on and everything as far as tracking and packages go. But I never thought to look into the plushie because I was just like, it was $4. When it gets here, it gets here. I'm not expecting it to be here before Christmas. So I go to pull it up during Christmas when we're opening gifts. I go to pull it up and show it to her. And then it dawned on me, I never got an email from them. I got the email saying that, hey, PayPal took out this much money because for this from this website. I go to that website, I go to log in. You don't have a username here. You don't have an account here. Oh, great. So I think I'm going to have to put a dispute in with PayPal. I mean, it was like $4, but still, it's the principle of it at this point.
Yeah, true. Yeah, mine was like, last year when it didn't arrive, they were like, oh, it'll arrive, next week. Oh, it'll arrive the following week, and it still hasn't come. And they're like, all right, well, you can either reorder it, or we can give you a refund. I'm like, why the hell would I reorder it? No, give me my money back.
Yeah, seriously. I would probably have to reorder it because I told her it was a Chikorita plushie, and she, lit up like a damn Christmas tree. So if it doesn't come, she's going to be a little upset. I'll have to reorder it, which is fine, or buy her a better one.
You guys, do you ever watch Team Four Stars Let's Play videos?
No.
They do a couple Pokemon Nuzlocks, and they are hilarious. I know when they did Soul Silver, they did a Nuzlocke of that, and they started off with Chikorita, and they nobody in the party liked the idea of starting off with Chikorita. They either wanted Totodile or Cyndaquil, but it was like randomly generated which starter they would have. So
Hmm.
they got stuck with Chikorita, and because it was a male, they were trying to think of a name because you have to name all your Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, this guy was a mistake. So they ended up calling him Mr. Steak, and he is one of the most endearing characters in that entire Let's Play, series for Soul Silver.
Ironically enough, she's never played any of the games.
Mm-hmm.
So being that she is so much in love with Chikorita and, she now has a passion for Pokemon, she's talked to me recently about playing one of the games. She's like, what's a good one to start with? And I gave it thought and I'm like, clearly it would be a Gen 2 game because she likes Chikorita so much. So to be able to have that as her first Pokemon, she'll go nuts. Um, but then I thought the original Gold and Silver were a little outdated. So I'm like, oh, but then there's the remakes, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and you can have a Pokemon follow you around in those. That would be perfect. So that's going to be the one that she starts with. She should actually be playing that soon. I might actually, that might be a good idea to have it recorded, maybe even stream it for her, and then just like upload them to YouTube or something like that. Do like a video series of it.
Yeah, good luck with that because a capture card is not cheap.
Capture card. Ha! Are you forgetting about Oink? Because I think you're forgetting about Oink. Oink is what Andy calls my computer, by the way. Andy and Fresco came to my house one time, and they see my computer, and they just said, I look at that thing, and all I can think of is Oink. that's, that's what they call my PC.
Yeah, Family Guy reference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a very actually pretty much all of my stuff I do through my Xbox One. Skyping, playing video games, looking at YouTube, watching Netflix, streaming, even my internet browser. I use, the internet browser on the Xbox One, and I don't have a need for a PC.
Does that include your porn viewing?
Yes. Yes, it does.
I'm going to feel dirty the next time I play your Xbox.
No, you just have to use the right controller. I'll give you a hint. It's the white one.
The white one is the right one, or the white one is the not right one?
White one is the porn one.
The white one's the one that would blend in with all the fluids. Got it.
See, you know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of video games and, the end of the year and all that, one other thing that a lot of people do, and I kind of want to get in on it, they discuss what they feel like the best of was of this year for different segments. Now, for different subjects, mediums, and all that. I told Andy this already, to pick. I don't know his selections, he doesn't know my selections, but we are going to do our choices for top movie, top game, top TV show, and top album. Now, Andy has said, we'll actually start here. Andy said that he doesn't have a specific top album. Am I correct?
Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of current music. I still listen to older playlists. So I don't keep up with what the kids are listening to these days.
Actually, one thing I want to add to this real quick. I have Spotify, and with Spotify, I have Spotify Premium. So, I pay the money to have no ads and all the fun stuff with it and everything like that. But and I have all year had Spotify Premium. So one thing Spotify decided to do was make a top songs of 2016 based off of what I listened to throughout the whole year,
Okay.
which I thought was really cool. And I'm gonna just I'm gonna go through a couple of them real quick. So we have "Killing in the Name of," or excuse me, "Killing in the Name," Rage Against the Machine.
Right.
Cemetery Gates, Pantera. "I Hope You Die," Bloodhound Gang. Uh,
That's a good one.
Paradigm, Avenged Sevenfold. Uh, "Ain't No Fun If the Homies Can't Have None" by Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
"Speak to Me" by Pink Floyd. "Fuck the Police" by NWA.
Wow. Still.
"For Whom the Bell Tolls" by Metallica.
Mhm.
"I Get My Thang in Action" by Method Man. "Rise of the Phoenix" by Tenacious D.
Ooh, all right.
"Johnny Be Good" by Chuck Berry. There's 101 songs. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just giving you a couple.
Okay. Whew.
Yeah. Here's where some of the funny ones come.
Filler.
And yeah, this is where some of the funny ones come. Because I'm listening to this playlist and I'm like, this is awesome. I'm downloading this entire playlist and I'm going to just randomize it and see what I listen to throughout the year, right? So I did that and I'm jamming to some of this stuff, right? And then all of a sudden, one of them comes on. "Strokin' by Clarence Carter." And I'm like, really? Did I listen to that song that many times, as a joke that it picked up on my 2016 playlist? And then I found out that so did "No Easy Way Out" by Robert Tepper, which you probably wouldn't know. It was on the Rocky IV soundtrack. And yeah, for those that have seen Rocky IV, it's the scene, spoilers, right after a character dies. I'll just say that. And Rocky is driving through because he's pissed off about it, and he's just driving around, and that song's playing, and there's a montage of him being pissed off. It's funny. A lot of
Because
311.
of him being pissed off.
Yeah, montage of him being pissed off. A lot of 311. And then this came on, and I was really confused. "Monster" by Lady Gaga. And I'm like, what the shit? And then it dawned on me, right, my wife uses my Spotify account. So that's
Okay.
that's where that came from. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I was like, what the hell? I was like, I know I listen to some weird trolly shit, but that that's not one I remember. So, uh, but anyway, yeah, go ahead. What is your top one? I'm going to scroll through this while you're talking about it because I gotta see it. I know there's another one. I can't remember what it is. But go ahead. What's your top music of the year?
Well, if so, I thought about it, and there is a song that came out. I believe it came out this year. God, I hope it came out this year. Otherwise, I'm more out of touch than I thought I was. Um, that I did listen to quite frequently, as enough to YouTube it a couple of times. Um, "Cheap Thrills" by Sia.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah. Don't know. I don't know what it was about that song, but I did enjoy it. I think it was Sean Paul. Sean Paul did it for me because I love making fun of his Jamaican accent. I have no idea why.
Sean Paul.
Yeah, yeah. It's that song where it's like, he's only there to say more than diamonds, more than gold,
Okay.
and I just listen to that over and over again, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. And it pops in my head from time to time whenever anybody talks about the price of something, because I'll ask like, oh, how much did that cost you? And it doesn't matter what they say, because immediately after it leaves my lips, the first thing I think of is Sean Paul saying, more than diamonds, more than gold.
All right. Here's the other song I was thinking of. So me and my brother-in-law were just randomly looking up weird stuff on Spotify one day, and we were like, "What has Snoop Dogg came out with over the years, like as far as collaborations go?" Because Snoop Dogg, I mean, for him being as hardcore gangster rap as he was when he first hit the scene, and all he talked about was bitches and money and getting drunk and getting high and pouring champagne on women, and he didn't give a shit about anything. Now he had a
No,
big
not at
dick,
all.
that was it. Um, and now like you'll see him, he'll collaborate with like Katy Perry, and being songs that are friendly for kids radio and stuff like that. And it's just like, what happened?
Right.
It's just like when you look at Ice Cube, he was part of NWA, and then all of a sudden he makes the Are We There Yet series. But anyway,
Yeah.
so we're just kind of looking at some of Snoop Dogg's collaboration. He had one with Willie Nelson that apparently me and my brother-in-law listened to enough times to make my 2016 list. It's called Superman. And I gotta tell you, it's not bad.
Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson.
It's not bad. It's like a bluesy song where the two of them are just going back and forth, pretty much talking about how they're old now. And they can't do what they used to be able to do, and they're not Superman. They go to the doctor, and the doctor tells them, "You're not Superman."
That's funny.
It's great, man. It's actually a pretty good song. Like, if you get a chance, look it up. It's called Superman. Um, Snoop Dogg and Willie Nelson. Yeah, it's funny. But anyway, all right. So my top album of the year, as if it's a surprise, is Avenged Sevenfold's "The Stage." Hands down, that CD was fucking perfect, front to back.
I still never listened to it.
Oh, it's good. It is good. But anyway, let's move on from music. Let's where do you want to go next? TV show, game, or movie?
You talked a lot on music. I know the one I can talk about a lot is video game.
Okay, let's go there.
All right, so my pick
Hold on.
for
Hold
2016
on.
and
Hold on.
what?
Hold on.
What?
You went first on music. I want to go first for a game.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah, I do. Especially because you probably have a lot more to talk on it than I do.
Fair, go for it.
I had a similar issue with you, with games that you had with music, because while there was a few games that I played that came out this year, a lot of the games I played this year were old games. Just games that may have recently gotten updates and stuff like that. Like, I don't think Ark came out this year. I played a lot of Ark, but I don't think it came out this year. Um, as a matter of fact, I'm fairly certain it did. Not important though. What did come out this year that I would probably have to give it to, and I don't want to make it seem like it was just a default thing, because I did thoroughly enjoy it and am still enjoying it. And if that doesn't give it away, then I don't know what does. Pokemon Sun would be
Yeah,
my top game. So
yeah. It's a good game. It really is.
yeah. But go ahead. What do you got to say about the subject?
Okay, so I looked back on it and realized that there wasn't a lot of games that I bought this year. Because apparently my wish list was bigger than my to get list. There's still titles that I wanted to pick up. Like, I love the Dead Rising series, and I want to pick up Dead Rising 4, but I'm not going to be able to do so until after the holidays are like done and over with. Same thing with Final Fantasy 15. I want to try it, but I don't really like. I don't really have the means to get it or sit down with it. But the one game that I bought early this year and played consistently throughout the year, and it has never really disappointed me, has been Overwatch, hands down.
Okay.
I played the shit out of that game.
Yeah, I played a lot of Overwatch too. Now that I think about it, and yeah, that did come out this year, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out in May, and it didn't disappoint. I mean, I kind of have this love-hate relationship with it because
hmm
the week before it came out, Battleborn came out, and I'm a big fan of Gearbox. I really am, and I really wanted Battleborn to succeed, and I bought it. I played it, and the stuff that was a problem in the beta both that I played in the closed and the open beta for it, and the persistent issues that I had with the game were still there
Mm.
at the game's release. And I went, no, come on, guys, you're better than this. And then when Overwatch came out, because Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, had one of
Right.
those things where like people asked him, like, are you worried that Overwatch is coming out and it's a pretty similar game? Blizzard kind of knows what they're doing, and he's like, oh, please, we love competition, bring it on, Blizzard. And I'm like, oh, Randy, beep beep,
Beep beep.
beep beep, Randy, like do not pull that particular lion's tail, because if Blizzard is good for anything, it's making games that a lot of people enjoy.
And if they're good for anything, it's also making the games of a specific genre or a specific type, blow other games of that similar genre out of the water, like World of Warcraft. Like,
Yeah, World of Warcraft, like RTSs, like
oh
I
god,
mean,
StarCraft. No one has made another StarCraft. No one has made. And now look, I did not like WoW. I've played MMOs and I do not like WoW. To this day, I don't like WoW. I've tried it, could not get into it. I don't give a damn what I say though, because the numbers do not lie, and that game is still successful. That's
that and top-down RPGs. I mean, Diablo is a very like you know, it's a very well-respected franchise, and for good reason.
um. I take issue with that statement.
Really,
I do. Diablo 2, hands down, knocked it out of the park. Diablo 1, I don't even remember playing, but Diablo 2 was awesome. Diablo 3, I've played, and where I like it, it's not Diablo 2. And I didn't want Diablo 2, but I did want something possibly better than Diablo 2, and other games have done that more successfully than Diablo 3 has.
huh?
So that kind of bothered me.
Eh. I mean, I still enjoy the shit out of Diablo 3. I played it well past earning all the achievements and putting in hundreds of hours in it. Um, I just enjoy the game.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of it.
The creator of Diablo 2, I'm blanking on his name right now, but he is the guy that made Marvel Heroes, which I dumped thousands of hours into. That's not an exaggeration. Literally over 2,000
Thousands.
hours. That game, if that came out this year, that would be my top game, even though I probably haven't played it since like February, but still. Um, that was my Diablo 2 predecessor for me. They came out with another game called Path of Exile that, nobody from Diablo had anything to do with that I know of, but it just felt so much like the sequel to Diablo 2 to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, more so
yeah.
than Diablo 3. Like, if you take the story out of things, and I think this is definitely the sequel to Diablo 2 deserved, not Diablo 3. But anyway, that's enough talk on that. Yeah, Blizzard did good things.
The one thing that I will say before we go off real quick is that uh, Overwatch, as much as I like it, the one thing that I think is fascinating to me is that I feel like they released part of a game. It's not even an entire game. It's part of one. Like,
What do you mean by that?
okay, so Overwatch, when it was released, has this grandiose world setting. It has this intricate storyline. It has these really in-depth characters, and none of that is on display in the actual game.
How so?
Like, because, okay, you know what the game is about, right?
Yeah, I own it.
Okay, so, uh, the storyline goes that, it's in the not too distant future. Mankind is at war with an AI, like artificial intelligence race. And the Overwatch was established when the AI went nuts and there was a war between robots and man. And they operated worldwide. They were a ragtag bunch that had unique abilities that let them be able to do what they do best. And then there was like this big cataclysm. Australia had a nuclear fallout. All these characters had demises. The Overwatch itself shattered. The world wouldn't tolerate them. They were forced into retirement. And then like stuff happened now that bringing them back out of retirement to save the world because the regular military won't do it. Like all this sounds really interesting and really fascinating. None of that is actually on display in the actual game. None of it. Not one freaking iota of that is actually on display in the game.
Do you
What we got
need any of that though?
Yes, their entire advertising campaign is based on a story mode that we never got. The game is, it feels like it's the multiplayer part of a game that we never got the full release for.
I see what you're saying. I am definitely an advocate of judging a game based off of its single player campaign as opposed to its multiplayer campaign. Like a lot of people sit there and argue with me that Call of Duty is a great game, and I look at them and I laugh at them. Um, and part of the reason I laugh at them is because a the single player is maybe 5 hours at most with any of them. You pick a Call of Duty game and you tell me you spent more than 5 hours in the single player campaign.
I
Uh,
can't.
and B, it's not even a good multiplayer game. Like I've played multiplayer shooters, and this might be a little biased sounding because it's a PC only game, but Counter Strike is by far one of the best competitive first person shooter games ever. Like the game is just astonishing. Overwatch is good, but it's not Counter Strike, and it never will be Counter Strike. Counter Strike, if you want the authentic feel of first person shooter like you get in Counter or what the fuck did I just say? Call of Duty,
Blah, 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 blah.
Call of Duty or Battlefield or anything like that. Counter Strike is a superior one to all that. Overwatch is the arcade version of that, and it's fun for that reason. Which is why I'm saying like I don't think you really need a story with that game because where I do agree with you, if they promised us a story, we should have that story. But did they promise us a story or did they promise us a single player campaign?
That's hard to say.
Because we got a story and we're continuing to get story. It's in a series of YouTube videos, and I understand that might not be what we want, but that might be the future we live in. That's just what we get now.
I mean, the game's fun. I'm not going to argue with that. And it's funny too because like when I think about it, and I'm like before we were set to record the podcast, I played Overwatch because a match can take less than 15 minutes,
Yeah,
and I got my video game fix. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I felt like I was making progress in the game,
sure.
and that's it. Although honestly, at this point, really, why doesn't Blizzard just make an animation studio?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. But
Speaking of animation, what's your movie picks?
I was gonna say, I think we talked enough on this. All right, my movie pick for 2016. I thought about it a lot, and it came down to two, and I went with the one that had more yucks in it.
Okay.
The one that parents everywhere should not be taking their children to see, regardless of how much it's a superhero movie, and that it's Deadpool. But I just want to point out something real quick. I just used the word yucks and the word parents, and I thought about Mother Yuckers. And is it too late to change our name for our podcast?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Because I really like Mother Yuckers.
What? It's probably already taken. Our luck, because we went through a lot of names.
Oh yeah, we did. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I don't see it anywhere. Just saying.
Yeah, no, too late.
Yeah, I know. I know. There's a Facebook called Mother Yucker. I don't know what that's all about, but
Oh God, no.
there's a podcast called
Weird.
Mother Tucker's Yellow Duck, whatever that is. Uh, yeah. All right. Not
Anyway,
yeah, my pick is Deadpool. I thought about it, and the other movie was going to be Civil War. Say I'm fanboying all you want. I don't give a damn. Civil War is a fantastic movie. Deadpool was a great movie. And I thought about it, and I'm just like, you know what? I think Civil War might be the better comic book movie, but Deadpool was certainly more entertaining because not only did it have the action that I would want, but it also had the laughs that I wanted. You know what I mean? It was Deadpool. It was everything I wanted from it. They did a fantastic job with it. So Deadpool.
Yeah, I actually, it's funny that you say that. My pick is also Deadpool.
Of course it is.
No, because I saw that in theaters Valentine's weekend
Yep.
with my girlfriend. Um, and yeah, we that was the most fun I have had watching a movie in quite some time.
Yeah.
And I don't care what you think. The last time I laughed that hard at a movie in the theater was Superbad.
I can see that. And the great thing about it is, because you're pretty much laughing the entire movie, you could go back and watch it and you're going to get jokes the second time around that you didn't catch the first time because you were too busy laughing and didn't hear it or didn't see it,
Yeah.
which happened because the first time I seen it, it was hysterical. The second time I seen it, hysterical. The third time I seen it was the first time I heard him say hashtag drive by as he was walking by the blind lady and farting. and, and I lost my shit all over again. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna start doing that now. Oh my god, because he said something hysterical right before that that I've always laughed at before, and this being the third time, the joke was still funny, but there was no need to laugh at it. There was no urge to laugh at it again. So I was just like, oh yeah, there it is again. Hashtag drive by. Oh my god, that's hysterical. But anyway.
Yeah, I
Well,
enjoyed that movie way too much. I thought it was a fantastic movie, and it makes me nervous about a second one, but still hopeful.
oh, but Cable's going to be in the second one.
Uh,
Look, I know Cable isn't the most endearing or exciting character in the Marvel Universe, but because of his constant serious demeanor, and you take someone with Deadpool in his characteristics, it's like there's just so much fun to be had with that. It's like Deadpool and Ajax or Francis, whatever you want to call him, in this movie.
Francis.
Yeah, in this movie, it's you have a serious character who might chuckle here and there, and you have Deadpool just making a complete mockery of everything he does. So, and Colossus as well. Oh, and by the way, bravo to these people for finally getting Colossus right.
Yeah, it took him long enough, and not even in an X-Men
Not
movie.
even in an X-Men movie. That's funny. But anyway, yeah, Deadpool's definitely both of our picks. And it's going to be up for Golden Globes, I think. Is that the right one? Oscars. Going to be up for Oscars.
Oscars.
That's it.
Oscars?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit. I swear to God, if Ryan Reynolds gets an Oscar for Deadpool, I don't even know anymore. Like, my whole world is turned upside down at that point.
Let me double check here.
That's it, because how pissed, if Ryan Reynolds gets an Oscar for his performance in Deadpool, how pissed do you think Leonardo DiCaprio is going to be? Just sitting there, arms folded, muttering under his breath, I wrestled a bear once.
that that would be funny. That would be funny. God, is it? It's the Golden Globes. No, it is Golden Globes. He's
Okay.
nominated for the best motion picture and the best performance by an actor in a motion picture.
Okay. Yeah, about to say, because Oscar didn't sound right. I'm like, you're kidding me. There's no way they would give Ryan Reynolds an Oscar for Deadpool. I mean, I would love it. But again, there would be all the old hats in the audience, like, in a big harumph with their arms folded in their chair.
But even still, Golden Globes, that's a huge deal.
I'm sure it is.
I'm not going to say that it's a huge deal, but I am going to say it's a huge deal for a comic book movie to be nominated for something like that.
All right, now that I will agree with.
Because typically those things don't happen. Like, they never nominate, because, they pick the stuffy movies like Birdman or whatever the hell the Last Revenant or whatever the hell that movie was with DiCaprio.
Yeah.
The movies that are like artsy or serious or and then the comedy pick would be like The Kingsman or something. Really? Was there like one joke that that's the laugh you get out of it?
Yeah.
But
I actually I really appreciate the idea that Marvel had the balls to loan out their licenses for projects like that. Like people were so worried when they got bought by Disney that that means that we wouldn't have any, any room for adults to enjoy their comic book heroes. And what they've done with the Netflix series and what they've done with the Fox series of movies,
Okay,
bravo.
the Netflix series, yes. The Fox series, on the other hand, Disney has no control over that. They can't say, hey, you can't make a rated R Deadpool movie. It's theirs. They bought it. They can do whatever the hell they want with it. Um,
I didn't realize that. I thought Disney still had a say in that.
no, no, because it's Marvel in '90s when comic books weren't exactly the most popular thing in the world. Marvel was kind of running out of money, so they started selling off their licensing for movies to be made because they were like, who the hell's going to make a successful Spider-Man movie or a successful X-Men movie? And surely enough, Fox was like, we want to buy the X-Men franchise. Can we make movies for that? Can we buy the rights to that? Sure, here, take it. It's yours. Anybody else? And Sony came along and was like, yeah, we'll take Spider-Man. All right, have it. And Ghost Rider went, and Blade went, and Fantastic Four, and just numerous others. And slowly but surely, they're getting them all back because the contract or the agreement or something like that is something along the lines of if they don't make a movie with those properties within such an amount of time, then they have to sell. Marvel has the right to buy them back, which is how they've been getting certain things back. Now, Spider-Man's case, on the other hand, with Spider-Man: Homecoming and the Civil War movie, they came to an agreement with Sony to be like, look, can we at least put him in our movie? And Sony said, yeah, but we're still getting a say in the final cut. You can even make the next Spider-Man movie, but we are still calling it ours, and we get a say in what stays and what goes. But Marvel is pretty much taking the helm of that project, so
Which is
that's
fine because Tom Holland is amazing.
that's why I'm excited about it. But let's move on to the last pick, and that is TV show or top show in general, because I'm going to count Netflix series as well because they are so overwhelming at this point.
Yeah, they are. Holy shit.
So what do you got for top show of 2016?
Top show of 2016? Hmm. Well, and I don't know. I don't even care what you think. So the one that I got the most enjoyment out of was Orange is the New Black.
Okay.
Um, I was waiting forever for that season to come out, and then when it finally did, I'm like, yay! And it didn't disappoint. Like it's every time that I've seen that show, I'll be fair. The only reason I started watching that, it's not like I was a fan of the books or anything like that. I watched it for gratuity. I'll admit that. I watched it specifically for gratuity, and I
I,
was
I can
pleasantly surprised.
I can watch lesbian porn and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah, Netflix has lesbian porn. Why would I not want to get on board with that? But I actually really enjoyed the characters, the story arc. Like, I love the show. Like, I actually care what happens to the people in the show. And now, like, the lesbian sex scenes are a bonus, but that's not why I tune in. Like, I actually tune in to see what happens to Piper or what happens to, a lot of these other characters that, like, that were side characters season one, but then got fleshed out in season three. And I'm like, this show is still good. Holy shit. I
Nice.
really enjoyed it.
I mean, all right, there's only one way to ask this question. How in detail do they get with the lesbian scenes? I've never
Not
seen it.
detailed. Now, the only thing they have is maybe a topless scene or so, but they're not even prominent. Um, a lot of the camera work and stuff like that is inferred sexuality, not
That's what I was wondering because I mean, if you think about sex scenes in movies, um, most of the time it's you might see a nipple or two, but you're not seeing the man's junk, and you're
no.
certainly not seeing any, lady bits underneath the waist, um, and definitely no penetration. But you
No.
will see a man and woman hugging each other and kind of thrusting towards each other, and
Mm.
that's it. So you really can't do that with women. You can't have two lesbians thrusting each other. I mean, you could, but there would have to be some sort of apparatus that you would see. And This is prison, so I doubt they have those.
Well, I mean, screwdriver on one end kills people, on the other end makes them happy.
You make new friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I always wondered about that. I'm like, how far do they go into detail with that? Because yeah, I don't know.
And some of the sex scenes is like, general heterosexual sex. It's just,
Oh,
it's not like there are no male characters in the show. There are.
well, I kind of figured like guards and stuff.
Well, guards, warden and everything like that. Yeah, I mean, and there are female guards as well as male guards. So
Oh, I see. I see. Okay, that makes sense.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'll go into my TV show here. So it's also a Netflix show, which is why I brought the idea of Netflix shows. And it was a toss up between two. And again, call me a fanboy all you want, but it was either going to be Daredevil season two or Luke Cage.
Uh,
And I thought about it, and as much as I did enjoy Daredevil season two, and I did, Luke Cage had me from beginning to end in all of the 24 hours it took me to watch the entire season.
you binge watch the entire thing?
I watched all but one episode the day it came out, and then the next day, as soon as I woke up, I watched the last episode. Yeah, I binge watched the entire thing. And
Wow.
if you think about it, I came home from work that Friday. I get done at 12 on Fridays. So about 12:30, 1 o'clock when I finally settled in is when I started watching it. And I certainly woke up before 1 o'clock the next day. So I finished it within 24 hours.
Shit.
Yeah, dude, that show had me sucked in. Like I was hooked right from the beginning. Every bit of that show was fantastic to me. The constant references to the other shows, the other Netflix series, the constant references to old school hip hop for me was fantastic.
I
Just
bet.
oh my god, dude, have you seen it?
I have not watched it yet.
Oh, so good. Like just I am really looking forward to Iron Fist now because I was already looking forward to Iron Fist. Of the four of them, he was probably my favorite character, and I feel like he enough hasn't been done with him yet. Not as much as that could be done with him, and I feel like a TV show is probably the best platform for him, or Luke Cage, or Daredevil, or anything to have because they don't really
True.
have any flashy powers or anything like that. They're not going to spend thousands of dollars or millions on special effects. So a TV show is really the best way. Plus,
Yeah,
what Iron Fist villain do you know of that can make an entire movie out of?
that's a tough one.
Yeah.
But then again, if you'd asked me that they were going to make a Jessica Jones show and have the Purple Man be the villain, I'm like, what? All right, a hero I don't care about and a villain I care even less about.
Yeah.
And that ended up actually being way better than the sum of its parts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was watching it only because of the connection I had to Daredevil. Um, so I started watching it, and I was just like, episode one was eh. Episode two, oh, is that Luke Cage? No, that is Luke Cage. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Eh,
they
still whatever.
fucked.
Yeah, they did. They fucked.
Yeah, it wasn't just, it wasn't a tasteful, like, oh, it's inferred that we're doing things. Like, no, no, they fucked.
They fucked. But episode three, I was just like, let me just see what episode four is about. Then I'm going to bed. So that was the last time that I was not sure of whether or not I was going to finish the series because episode eight, when I finally decided, okay, time for bed,
Yeah.
you know, it was really well done, but it wasn't this year, and it's still not as good as Luke Cage. Luke Cage is by far my favorite one so far. They just freaking blew that out of the park.
Hmm.
Anyway, so that is our, you know, top things of the year.
For what it's worth.
For what it's worth. I just wanted to do it. um, well, I guess the only thing left to do here is, oh, well, there's the NFL thing, but unfortunately,
Nope.
here's the thing,
Nope.
folks. It's the last week of the NFL season. So the problem with that is, whereas it could get interesting for me and Andy to decide who's going to win the games, they're not going to try with all the games because some teams aren't even playing for anything. Like they've already clinched the playoff spots. They've already clinched whatever they can clinch in that position they're in. So there's legitimately no reason for them to attempt to play. Whereas some games are going to be complete nail biters because it's going to be everything is on the line for both teams. There's going to be complete opposites where you might have a team whoever goes against the Browns. What if the team going against the Browns doesn't have anything to play for neither? Then it's just going to be a boring game, and who the hell knows who could win?
Right.
You know. But I bring up the Browns for a specific reason because this is the only reason I'm bringing up football. They did it, Andy.
No.
They did.
Only team to lose every game in the season?
No, they won.
Really?
Yeah, they beat the Chargers last week.
I don't know how I feel about that.
By 3 points. And here's the best part. So they were 0-14 going into that game. The San Francisco 49ers were 1-13 going into their game, which means if for some reason the Browns broke their losing streak, and the 49ers kept up with theirs, that would make both of them 1-14, which means going into the next year opening draft of the season, it was going to be either one of them could have had the first round pick, which would have ruined things for the Browns because you want the first round pick. So what's great about it is not only did the Browns get their first win, but the 49ers got their second win. So the Browns are still guaranteed the number one spot in the draft. And they didn't have to do it with a winless record.
Those cheeky little elves.
And the Brownie elf was there.
No.
I shit you not, dude. He came out. He was the mascot for the game. Yeah. Oh my god. I was cracking up. I was like, oh my god, Andy has to see this. It was so funny. Like it was legit there. And yeah, I guess because it was Christmas Eve. He was dressed up in his green and all that. Yeah.
All that.
I can't find a video of him. But he was there, I promise.
Oh, I'll find it.
Yeah.
On my own time.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so they won a game. It was some might consider it a Christmas miracle. But unfortunately, we're not going to be doing the NFL this week, and I'm not so sure we're going to be doing it at all now because after that is playoffs, and there's not a whole hell of a lot. We can and probably will certainly make picks for playoffs because I could see that being real fun. But there's not going to be a lot of teams to pick from is the problem.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a lengthy segment at all. Might not even be worth the time to do.
I think it'll still be worth the time to do because, it's fun. A lot of people like it, and I certainly am 100% enthralled into playoffs when it comes to the NFL season, especially when the Giants are in it, which they are.
Oh, I bet.
So, I'm definitely going to be paying attention and would like to have a little bit more time spent on it through means of us talking about it on a podcast. So I think we can still do it, but being that it's not going to take up as much time, this might be a great time to start the segment you want to do.
Yay! Oh, wait, I still got to flesh that out a bit.
Well, sure, we still got to flesh it out a bit, but I figured we could figure it out. Basically, what Andy wants to do, for those who don't remember or have not listened to that episode, Andy wants to do the opposite of what I do to him, where Andy knows nothing about football, and I am, a huge fan of it. I know nothing of the WWE drama called wrestling.
Yep.
And Andy is a super fan of sorts. So
Of sorts.
we were going to somehow pick matches, I guess.
Yes. Pick matches for their. I guess we could do the weeklies. Because they do have 2 shows a week, SmackDown and Raw.
I was going to ask, is this still SmackDown and Raw?
Yeah, it's still SmackDown and Raw. There's also NXT, which is the up and coming stars. And of course you have the pay-per-views, but the pay-per-views are normally one a month. I think this coming year they're going to go to two a month.
Okay, well, being that we do 4 podcasts a month, that's not going to work out if we just do the pay-per-views.
Right.
So, I would suggest every week we just do Raw and SmackDown, and then when a pay-per-view happens, we'll do those as well.
Yeah, and I could go over a little bit of like, leading up to the match. It's like, oh, well, Rusev wants to beat the shit out of Roman Reigns because he talks shit about his fiance, Lana, but
Okay,
Lana interfered in the match that they had. So who do you think's going to win in this one?
I don't know a single name you just said.
Really, Roman Reigns?
I think I heard my wife talk about him once or twice because she's a fan of wrestling.
She would talk about how gorgeous he is.
No, she's a fan of Dean. Who's the guy with Dean something?
Dean Ambrose?
That's it, Dean Ambrosia. Yeah,
Oh, she would like Dean Ambrose.
that's her guy. I think Roman guy is her mother's favorite because of how gorgeous he is.
Roman guy.
I don't know what the hell you said. Is it Roman Reigns?
Roman Reigns.
Reigns, as in
Yeah, as in God Reigns.
I was thinking more like raining good looks on people.
Ew.
Oh, I can't wait to do this segment. I can't wait to tear apart your love the way you do to me.
Time will tell.
Please tell me there's some racist names around there.
Oh man.
Now here's
Um,
the thing, Andy, and everyone is here listening, so they're all going to hear it. And there's a clips episode. Speaking of, next week's episode is not going to be a live one; it's going to be a clips one. Andy is doing some New Year's festivities, and who knows what I'll be doing. So, we're going to take a break and we're going to have a clips episode again. So I hope you guys all enjoy that. But now that that's out of the way, you're going to have to do the research on these things. This is your project.
okay.
I am not going to know where to start with as far as what matches to look up and who I should pick or anything like that. And I certainly don't want to look into who is fighting who and why they're fighting because that might give me an edge on who's going to win.
Right.
You know.
I
So
got you.
so I just need you to tell me the matches and you can give me a little preamble if you want. That's fine. And similar to how I told you who won the week before. Um, and I'll do my thing the way you do your thing.
Yep. Mine will be a soap opera, but with muscles.
Yes. Whereas mine has been described as an organized mosh pit with a ball.
Both things are fun.
Yeah, so that's something to look forward to in 2017. But for now, we are finally returning to everyone's favorite segment, clickbait news. Which, by the way, I may or may not have a song for this segment.
Really?
Yes, someone
Wait.
actually. What?
So somebody actually volunteered to make a song for this?
Here's the thing. Somebody actually volunteered to make a song for our game show on the Christmas pod. Unfortunately, the music didn't come to me until that Thursday when not only was it already edited, but it was already put up. So
Ah,
it didn't work out. I didn't get it in time, and I wasn't able to squeeze it in there. But I was like, shit, you know what? Maybe I could use this for one of our other segments, like clickbait news. It does have a game showy introduction feel to it, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'll have to let you listen to it and see
okay.
what you think. But it's definitely not going to be this week. But we might be premiering a new song sometime soon, folks. Now on to clickbait news. I suppose the only way to start this off is to ask you, where do you want to go? We have
Oh,
three.
I want to go to Florida. I want to go to
I
Florida.
didn't even tell you the choices yet.
You don't have to tell me the choices. I know one of them is Florida. It always is.
It wasn't during the Christmas pod.
It wasn't, but we still found a way to talk about. Well, all right, it wasn't Florida. It was in the South, but I mean, Southern state to Southern state.
All right. Well, I have two southern states this week, and one of them is Florida, so I guess I'll go there. Okay. Um, why did this Florida man punch this fast food employee?
Punch the fast food employee. Um, because he didn't ask him if he wanted fries.
You are incredibly close. Florida man punches drive-through employee over cold fries.
Cold fries.
Yeah. In
Okay.
Florida man was arrested Thursday after deputies said he allegedly received cold fries from a fast food restaurant, demanded new ones, and punched the employee through the drive-through when he was denied them. Uh,
Wow.
Tavares Jones, 25, was at a St. Augustine area steak and shake on Thursday morning when he ordered French fries and allegedly received a cold batch. Deputies said Jones demanded new fries and some ketchup from the restaurant and threw the original batch back at the employee. The employee told deputies that Jones became, quote, very angry and demanded that she fight him. He also reached through the window and punched her in the arm, which left a bruise, deputies added. As Jones tossed the fries at her, this is a woman. He is beating up a woman because he got cold fries. As he tossed
Wow.
the fries at her, deputies said the employee retaliated by tossing ice and ketchup packets at him. They added that he also said he was called a racial epithet by the.
A what?
Oh, my mic got muted. Sorry,
Oh. How the hell did that happen?
I have no idea. So you heard he was called a nothing?
Yeah, I heard nothing.
Okay. They added that he also said he was called a racial epithet by the employee during the skirmish, deputy said. And Jones was arrested and faces a misdemeanor battery charge. So, homeboy got pissed off because he got cold fries and decided to beat up a woman. And
I mean, it's understandable to a certain degree.
she fought back with ice and ketchup packets, which I think is hysterical.
That is the ultimate weapon. Like, if you're gonna go to war over this, you need to bring your ketchup packets.
Yeah. So, that's
Uh,
Florida's story this week. The next place we go to is going to be 100% up to you. Now, here's the thing. We can, we could stay in the South, or we could stay with the concept of someone fighting off someone by throwing things at them. Your choice.
hmm. Thinking long and hard about this one. I actually like the consistency of staying in the South, so we'll stay in the South.
Okay. This one is in Kentucky.
Where
Um,
they have the fried chicken?
yes, where they have the fried chicken.
Chicka chicky, chicka
uh,
chew.
Kentucky man. What was he doing when he accidentally butt dialed the police?
Huh. Is he actually doing? I mean, my first instinct is to say play Pokemon Go.
No, he wasn't playing. He butt dialed them.
Yeah, Pokemon Go.
Okay, you're still okay. Kentucky man butt dials police while planning restaurant robbery.
Um,
He called the
what?
cops. He called the cops on himself while he was planning a robbery.
Why would you do that though?
It was an accident. He just butt dialed the police.
That's insane.
Let me give you the story. A pair of would-be robbers in Danville, Kentucky were busted even before they could commit the crime after accidentally butt-dialing police. Unfortunately for the suspects, this was one 911 reporter who didn't hang up. Suspects Robert Bourne and David Grigsby were reportedly planning to rob Brothers Barbecue Saturday night and were discussing it when one of the suspects pressed his cell phone's emergency mode, dialing police. According to Danville Police Chief Tony Gray, who said he hadn't heard the tape call yet, there was some conversation about when they should do it. They might be recognized if they do it in Danville, and I think they did talk about some different locations. Somewhere in the conversation, my name was brought up. This is all by the police chief Tony Gray. There was no quotation marks there.
Oh,
Gray
Tony.
Gray was finishing up dinner at Brothers Barbecue, as confirmed by owner Mike Sutherland, when dispatch called Gray about the phone call mentioning plans for a robbery. So he was actually there already. Police were later able to triangulate the cell call, finding the general location of it, leading an officer to Brothers Barbecue where he knew Gray was. The officer asked Gray if he had been the one to accidentally call police while discussing a robbery case, since Gray's name was mentioned. When he stepped out back to talk, the dispatcher was able to pinpoint the phone, and the call was coming from somewhere in the parking lot at Brothers Barbecue. At the time they located the two suspects sitting in the vehicle, Gray said, police found a mask on one suspect, but didn't find the weapons in the car. They were both charged with public intoxication. The two had been in the Brothers Barbecue before the conversation, according to Sutherland. Grigsby, one of the suspects, was charged with disorderly conduct and for having an open alcohol container in a car. So they were getting drunk, planning out a robbery, and accidentally called police. While police were there. Good job, Kentucky.
Hmm.
That's it. That's it. Just not much to say about that one.
I mean, huh. I mean, yeah, ish. But it's pretty, it's pretty cut and dry. Um, which feels weird to say, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, if there's ever going to be one that's not cut and dry, it's this one.
Oh, love it. Okay.
Like I said, somebody was throwing something at someone to fight him off. Now, this particular thing was another robbery, and they were fighting off. Employees of this store were fighting off an armed robber by throwing what at him?
Banana.
No, it wasn't a banana.
It should have been.
Sex shop employees fight off armed robber by throwing dildos at him.
That would have been my seventh guess.
Not cut and dry here. An armed man walked into a sex toy and lingerie store in San Bernardino, California on Wednesday night and attempted to rob the cash registers behind the sales counter while workers were closing the shop. Here's the thing. This one's not entirely recent. This was back in the middle of December. But this was something that a fan actually sent in. So I had to get it in there, and being that the Christmas episode was a thing, I couldn't do it during that. So I was, saving. I was sitting on it for a little while. But anyway, the robbers' plans were quickly foiled when the two lotions and lace employees unleashed a barrage of flying dildos and masturbation toys at the suspect.
Lotion and lace.
Lotion and lace. With the gun, he walked in. I just thought he was trying to be funny to scare us, one of the employees told ABC7. But then I saw the gun, and it was like, really? I don't have time for this. When the suspects grabbed her, her coworker began pelting the man with rubber sex toys until he retreated. The man left the store without making off with any stolen items. I think he was.
Hope not.
Yeah, I think he was a coward. The other worker admitted, coming in and trying to get over on two females and not realizing that we're pretty feisty. Police are still searching for the suspect and are analyzing security footage of the incident. Wow.
Yeah, just wow. Oh my god. Although, I mean, that again makes me want to aspire to be like that when I get older.
Yeah. Hold on. I think, yeah, there is. There is actual video of this. The surveillance camera is leaked. Not leaked, but just shown, probably for, reasons of if you have any information, call, blah, blah, blah.
Most of his reasons.
Whatever. We're going to laugh about it together.
Oh boy.
Here we go. All right, so you see the guy coming in. He's clearly wearing, hood and everything like that. He's got a bag and gloves on that he has the gun, so there's no fingerprints. And he's kind of walking around. The two employees, they're getting a little feisty. Oh, they're reaching for dildos. Literally arguing with the man with the dildo in her hand. Oh, she is yelling.
Yeah, doesn't even care.
It doesn't show her pelting anyone. Oh well.
Man, and that's the thing too, because like you get people like that that'll actually stare at a guy that has a gun pointed at him and will give him the business. Like, what are you doing? Like, you can just pull the trigger whenever he feels like it, and you're shutting up.
This is true, but at the same time, maybe it's the first time this guy's robbed anybody and first time he's ever pointed a gun at someone, and it's like, now what does he do? He didn't anticipate this to happen.
Practice. He practices.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's clickbait news.
in all of its splendor and also glory.
Speaking of glory, it is time to title this episode, Andy.
Oh boy. Um. Ooh, what do we call this one? What about
I mean, I'm a fan of Mother Yuckers.
other yuckers?
Look, we couldn't name our podcast that. It's too late, but damn it, I want an episode named Mother Yuckers. And if
Hmm.
nothing else, all right, how about this? I'll tell a little story real quick. Last week was our Christmas pod. On the Christmas pod, we had a Christmas play that was written by yours truly and some help of Andy. Gave me some ideas and everything.
Hmm.
But the majority of it was written by me. I'm taking credit. I don't give a damn. Because of that,
Get you some.
yeah, because of that, my mom wanted to hear it. So I played a little bit for her and told her, I would certainly make it easier for her to listen to it because she doesn't understand the concept of podcasts and all that. And I certainly didn't want her to listen to the actual podcast because, yeah, she didn't need to. So I was like, yeah, let me just separate the play. So that's why the play itself is actually separated now. So I could send it to her and she could listen to it. And apparently it was helpful for others as well, so that was nice. But anyway, I sent it to her at like 11:48 a.m. She texted me back at like 12:30 p.m. and said that was incredible. I laughed specifically at the part where they were decorating the tree. So
Wow.
literally as soon as I sent it to her, she pretty much opened up the link, pushed play, and was in. And was just listening. And didn't stop until she was done and sent me back, this was funny, that was incredible. And I said, yeah, that was my buddy Andy and his brother Fresco. What kind of name is Fresco? Not important, Mom. Anyway, the two of them ad-libbed all their parts. And she was just like, that is amazing. Yeah. For those who don't know and have listened to the play, and if you haven't, shame on you, go listen to it. It's hysterical.
Yeah, right?
All of Andy and Fresco's parts are ad-libbed. And God, it's hysterical. There's one. I want to talk about this real quick. There's one part in a play where they're doing the rich guys that are going back and forth or whatever, and I'm not going to give anything away, but they start to speculate why a specific little girl is not wearing a festive hat, and one of them comes up with this idea. I'm just going to say it. They say, look, if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it because this is a spoiler, kind of, sort of. They say maybe she has the AIDS. 100% ad lib. And Fresco responds to Andy saying that with just no, you idiot, just completely yells at him like, no, you fool. Why would she be wearing? Why would she not be wearing a hat if she had the AIDS? And he's like, oh, because to hide her hair from falling out. Well, then you would wear the hat. And they're going back and forth, whatever. And I'm just cracking up. I had to mute my microphone while I was recording it because I was laughing so goddamn hard. It was just hysterical. Uh, and then they start doing another part, and and it's the two gay guys. And at the very end of it, and it wasn't meant to be the very end of it. They're just going back and forth. Why is that little girl not wearing her hat? Maybe she has the AIDS.
All of the AIDS.
It wasn't supposed to be the end of it, but it became the end of it because following that very line, and you can actually, if you listen close enough, you can hear it in Fresco's voice because he starts to chuckle as he's saying it. Andy just fell into this barrel of laughter. I am dying cracking up. Fresco joins in, and we literally laughed together, the three of us, for a solid 2 or 3 minutes. Like, not able to breathe. We were laughing so hard.
Oh, but what
So,
a 2 to 3 minutes.
so if no one else laughs at that part because, oh, that's kind of funny, I don't give a damn. that is for us. And that part will always make me laugh because of that. Because God, the brilliance between you two in those segments. Oh, very
That
good
was a
job.
lot of fun.
You two did phenomenal. Well done.
Thank you.
But you're welcome. So that being said, you guys made my mom laugh. I think it's only fair we call this episode Mother Yuckers.
You know, honestly, I could get behind that. I
Right?
could. Yeah,
Right?
actually, now the more I'm thinking about it, yeah, no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine with me.
Good, because I was calling it that regardless.
Fine,
I
makes
can't,
sense.
I can't name the damn podcast that anymore. I'm calling it the episode that now. So there you have it. Episode 23 in the books, the last one of 2016. It's been a fun time, right? Like,
Ish.
well, if nothing else, 26 at least gave us side splitters, right?
True, it did do that. You know, we expanded our network of people that we associate with and talk to, which are all nice people.
Sure, sure.
And yeah, no, I'm looking forward to a brand new batch of celebrity deaths. A couple more video games that I wanted to see this year, but got pushed back to next year because that happens all the fucking time.
South Park.
Yeah. Ugh. And yeah, no, just in general, gonna enjoy myself because I'm waiting for the next summer blockbusters to hit.
Sure. And next year, hopefully, we're still going to be doing this because Christmas next year, I already have things in mind for the second annual Christmas episode.
All right, well, I won't break up with you yet.
And the second annual Halloween episode, which I'm also looking forward to. There's a whole mess of things coming in the down the pipe for Side Splitters, guys. So just stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening this year. 2017 is going to be great. That's all I got. Till then, be merry, get drunk on New Year's Eve, and ring in the New Year's with your pants on your head. And that will do it for episode 23 of Side Splitters, aptly titled Mother Yuckers. My name is Lyle.
And I'm Andy.
See you next year, guys.
Laters.